Good morning, everyone. Hanging on to a fair bit of clouds out there this morning. Taking a look from our Clay Desktop camera, 66 degrees with a little bit more of that northeasterly flow. Humidity is rather kind of on the high side right now at 84%. And we'll kind of work with a little bit more of a mix of a northeasterly to easterly wind as we go throughout much of the day, and then kind of see some small hints of a southerly wind by the late evening hours. 60s across the board, 66 in San Angelo as well. The same type of deal into Midland with 3 degrees cooler into Odessa at 63 degrees. We are pretty much uniform as we're all dealing with a little bit more of a humid start this morning all the way out into Breckenridge. Already some small areas of fog are beginning to develop, looking at half-mile visibility with 64 degrees in Breckenridge as well. That means that temperature in Dew Point has met saturation, and those winds are a bit more on that calmer side. 85 into Ozona for your high today as well. 82 in Big Spring, 83 out into Odessa as well. 82 into Abilene, 85 in San Angelo, with that temperature being relatively cool into Mundane and Stanford at 80 degrees. We'll take it as a win, but we are still going to hold on to a severe threat today at level 2 out of 5 slight risk, pretty much encompassing much of the Permian Basin down into the lower Trans-Pecos. But that severe threat does drop as storms will continue to move west to eastward as we head into the night hours. Gusty winds up to 60 miles an hour, held between 1 to 2 inches and possibly even excessive of up to 2 inches with that very low tornado threat. Here's kind of how one model does take this scenario. We're going to have a warm front that's going to start lifting up, give us a little bit more of that moisture and that southerly wind. I do anticipate we will have the bulk of the coverage around and along into the I-10 corridor south of I-20, but I am watching for some storm development into Eddy and Lee County that could potentially make its way eastward, but I think depending on the timing of that storm initiation, in which in this model it does it rather late, I don't think storms could make it fully all the way out there, but I do think storms along more south will be able to make its way into the Contra Valley. This is going to be around 12 a.m. Here's kind of how I know the model takes it. This is more of our in-house modeling. It takes those storm initiation just a little bit on that earlier side, around 2 to 3 p.m. pretty much again along the I-10 corridor. It's pretty much routine how these storms are really getting the form, but we get a little bit more of an earlier storm initiation along into Eddy and Lee County. This is going to be 6:30 p.m. but we can kind of see with that earlier initiation, those storms are going to be able to move just a little bit quicker, making its way down along into the I-10 corridor south of I-20. And if we can get that earlier storm initiation north of I-20, I think our northern portions of the basin heading into the big country as well stretching into the Contra Valley, this is going to be 10 p.m. Last time around, the last model was showing 12 a.m. I think we could see a cluster of storms that could form along that could possibly be onto the strong to severe side. But I think the more later these storms will start initiating, I think that severe threat should tamp it down a little bit. And here's kind of what it looks like. This is going to be 10 p.m. kind of that shift that we can see, especially with those models initiating a little bit more later north of the I-20 corridor. We're still going to hold on to that severe threat heading into our Wednesday. The same type of threats are going to be on the board. Some isolated storms are going to form off into our waist, slowly moving eastward as well. But I think it's going to be a rather hard time for those storms to really get going and pushing into the big country of Contra Valley. That's something that we are going to be watching as we head into much of our Wednesday. But we are going to still hold on some storm chances heading into Thursday and Friday. But some warmer temperatures are going to be on the way into the low 90s by early next week. We'll be back after the break.